The Pareto distribution is absolutely ubiquitous everywhere in organic systems, in inorganic systems, in animal systems, in human systems. The Pareto distribution is otherwise known as the 80-20 rule. And it says that 20% of any system will do 80% of the work of that system. 20% of YouTubers get 80% of the views. 20% of authors sell 80% of books. 20% of NBA players score 80% of the points. 20% of real estate agents sell 80% of the houses. This is found everywhere. Of all the clothing that you have in your closet, you wear 20% of your clothing 80% of the time. Now let's imagine you are a sales manager and you've got 50 salespeople underneath you, and your company spends hundreds of thousands of dollars per year on leads to give to your salespeople to hopefully close those leads and make money for the company. Who do you give these leads to? Do you spread them out evenly over everybody? Or do you give most of them to the top 20%? If you were to compare two companies, one company would give them mostly to the top 20%. The other company would spread them out evenly over all the salespeople. Most of these leads would be given to the 80%, which means most of these leads for this company would be wasted. And if these two companies were competing in the same environment, they were competing in the same market, this company would outsell this company. This company would go out of business. This company would thrive. Sure, when you get new salespeople, you give them a certain amount of leads. But after enough time to tell what kind of a salesperson they are, they're in the bottom 80%, they're in the top 20%, it makes perfect, rational, economic sense to give most of your leads to the top 20% of salespeople. Similarly, if you're an NBA coach and you have 20% of your players are scoring 80% of the points, 20% of your players are going to be in the game most of the time. You're not going to play the players on the bench unless one of these guys is injured. So it makes perfect sense to give the top 20% of people the most opportunities. And this is exactly how evolution worked back in the days of hunter-gatherers. Everybody competed to be the most productive, not because it was the right thing to do, not because of a social contract, but because if you were the most productive, you would get the most response from the other cave people. If you consistently produced the most calories that kept people from starving to death, you would get the most appreciation and recognition and rock star treatment. If you were the best storyteller that could motivate the tribe the most, better than everybody else, you would get the most recognition, the most sexual desire from the young women, the most approval from everybody. If you were the most persuasive, if you had the best ideas, if you could persuade other people of the validity of your ideas better than everybody else, you would get the most recognition. And this is where it gets a little uncomfortable. Just like a sales manager gives most of the leads to the top 20%, just like an NBA coach lets the top 20% play the most time, Mother Nature gives the most mating opportunities to the top 20%. So it's fairly straightforward to say that the top 20% of producers, of those who generate value in some form of another in a hunter-gatherer society, these 20% of top cave people, they make 80% of the babies of the next generation. Because they get the most respect from other people, because they get the most rock star treatment, because they get the most sexual desire from the young women, they produce most of the babies of the next generation. Just to make sure we understand this, let's compare two tribes. One tribe follows the Pareto distribution death match. The top 20% produce the most, they get the most rock star treatment, and they have most of the sex. So this means that every generation, this tribe produces babies that are made from the top producers of the previous generation. Now imagine another tribe that doesn't follow the Pareto distribution deathmatch. Everybody has sex in this tribe. This means that every generation, the babies are made from the average producers. So in this tribe, every generation, the babies are made from the top producers, the most persuasive people, the best hunters, the best storytellers, the best leaders, the best idea people. Whereas this tribe, the babies are made from the average people. It's pretty obvious, pretty straightforward that this tribe will have a continuous upward pressure on survival skills over the generation, which means this tribe will outpopulate this tribe. Very, very straightforward that this tribe is who we evolved from. Now, this sets up an understanding of what our ego is, what our ego instinct is. To compete effectively in this tribe, you have to have a rock-solid belief in your ability. You have to believe, truly believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that one day you will make it to that top 20%. No matter what happens, you have to maintain the integrity of your ego. You have to maintain the integrity of your belief. No matter what happens in the past, you always have to believe that your ideas are worthy of the rock star treatment, that your behavior is worthy of the rock star treatment, that your storytelling capabilities are worthy of the rock star treatment, that your persuasion skills are worthy of the rock star treatment. We can do another split test. Imagine two tribes of people living in the Pareto distribution death match where the top 20% make 80% of the babies. But in this tribe, everybody is programmed with an instinct that says, I am the fucking bomb. I am the best in the world. It's just a matter of time before I demonstrate why I should be the king of this tribe. And this happens no matter what. No matter what the evidence says otherwise, they always believe this. Everybody in this tribe believes this. Now compared to this tribe where they don't have such a strong ego instinct. They give up after it's pretty clear they're not going to make it to the top 20%. This tribe is going to be filled with not very motivated cave people, whereas this tribe will be filled up with massively, always highly motivated cave people. They believe everybody in this tribe, no matter what their hunting record says, even if they go 0-10 for the year hunting, even if they miss every time they throw their spear, so long as they continue to believe that one day they are worthy to rule this tribe, that they have the skills to get the hero treatment, this tribe will continuously producing more stuff. Whereas this tribe, if people give up based on the evidence, if they say, well, I keep missing, why do I even try? This tribe will not replicate as much as this tribe. And so the ego instinct is a collection of instincts that make us believe, that make you believe, that despite all of the evidence, despite all of the evidence, one day you will be king. That one day you will be a hero. The ego instinct compels us to believe that you have this great and massive ambition that will somehow show the world who you really are, and you will get that hero recognition that you deserve. This is the ego instinct. And if you understand the ego instinct, if you understand the structure of the ego instinct or the collection of ego instincts, you can persuade people to do anything. All you have to do is conversationally set up this subconscious relationship that if your targets do what you want, if your targets buy this product, if your targets give you their phone number, if your targets go along with your idea, they will increase their likelihood of letting their ambition out into the world and getting that rock star treatment. And this is a lot easier to do than most people realize.